How much money can an airline pilot make at JSX? Let's talk about it. This is going to be the beginning of a series where we go through the various airlines, regionals, majors, and little odds and end companies, and we talk about their pay. We're going to go over how much you get paid as a pilot to work at that company. And the first one to start this series off is how much money does a JSX pilot get paid? So there are a few things that we have to understand. If you are an FO, when I worked there were 3 tiers in which you could get paid on. There was a 500-hour tier, a 1,000-hour tier, and a 1,500-hour tier. If you had 500 hours and below, you got paid that amount. If you had 1,000 hours and below, you got paid that amount. If you had 1,500 hours and above, you got paid that amount. Now, JSX never publishes their 500-hour pay scale, so I cannot tell you what it is because I could not find it, and I don't have access to that information anymore. All I could find for you is their current pay scale that they publish, which is a sub 1,000-hour pay scale and a plus 1,000-hour pay scale. So if you have less than 1,000 hours, you get paid X amount. If you have more than 1,000 hours, you get paid X amount. I am quite sure that JSX more than likely still has a sub 500-hour pay scale, but they do not like to publish it. I would imagine this is because of optics, because they don't want people knowing that they do in fact pay pilots substantially less if you have 500 hours or less. Now, why does JSX have these tiers of flight time equals pay for FOs? Because they know that if you are a low time FO, you likely cannot go anywhere else to fly a jet, meaning that for that time bracket or that experience area, they have no competition for the most part. So they can pay you as little or as much as they would like, and there's nowhere else you can really go, and you're kind of forced to just deal with it. That's the sad reality of it. And you know that that is true because when we switch to the captain side does not have a, if you have X amount of hours, you get paid this amount. The captain side is simply if you're a captain and you've been here for X amount of years, that's how much you get paid. Across most airlines, that is how it works. It's not broken up into hours. It is simply how many years have you been here, that's how much you get paid. So the other thing that we need to understand is min guarantee, also known as minimum guarantee. This is the minimum amount that an airline guarantees that you'll make in a month. Think of this as a job where they say, hey, you're gonna work 40 hours every week. You then have enough information to calculate how much you should make every single month, not including overtime or bonuses or anything like that. At JSX, pilots get paid by the day. So if you show up at work, you get paid X amount of money for that day, no matter how many hours you're there. At JSX, a 14-day minimum guarantee. So that means that all we're gonna do during this process is look at the pay scale. We're gonna take the amount you make a day, times it by 14. That's gonna give us our monthly salary, and then we're gonna times that by 12 to get our yearly salary. All right, folks, here is a quick glimpse of the pay scale. You can find this pay scale on a website called Airline Pilot Central, and this website is basically a place where airlines will keep their recruiting information up to date for the most part. This ranges from pay to benefits, profit sharing amounts, just so that you can get a quick glimpse of what every airline has to offer on a very basic level. There's so much information that they don't include because there's so much information about our pay that you just really can't put it on a website because a lot of people wouldn't understand it unless you're actually in it. So just keep that in mind. The first pay scale that we're going to break down is a sub 1,000-hour FO who has only been there for a year. If this is you, you would get paid $160 a day. That'll equal $2,240 a month with a grand total of $26,880 a year. Guys, that's nothing. In today's economy, that's literally nothing. And I'll say this many times, historically, JSX pilots are paid far less than their peers. Okay, let's say you're a sub 1,000 FO and you've been working at JSX for 5 years. Well, in that case, you're a little bit better off. You're making $220 a day. Your monthly salary is $3,080, and your yearly income is $36,960. Still not a lot. Still not a lot. In today's economy, that's really nothing. Everything's so expensive. I can't imagine how you live on that. Also note that JSX has bases in big cities. You need a fair amount of money to be able to survive in a big city, and these salaries, at least as an FO, really don't constitute that. So, you know, understand these constraints. Well, let's say you're a 1,000-hour FO and it's your first year there. You'll be making $259 a day. That comes out to $3,626 a month, or a minimum guarantee yearly of $43,512. Mind you, if you are a 1,000-hour FO, if you're a 5,000-hour FO, you are getting paid the same amount across the board. If you're a 1,000-hour FO who's been on the company for 5 years, you get paid $291 a day. You get a minimum monthly guarantee of $4,074 and a minimum yearly income of $48,888. That's not good, guys. It's really not good. Pretty much any regional airline is going to pay you more as an FO, plain and simple. And the same rings true for captains as well. Let's talk about captain pay. If you are a first-year captain, doesn't matter how many hours you have, you'll be getting paid $630 a day. That sounds pretty good if you're not used to making that kind of money, but if you are an airline pilot or a regional airline captain, you understand, or even a regional airline FO, you are probably looking at this pay scale like, wow, that's crazy, because a regional airline FO can probably bring in something close to what a first-year captain at JSX will make. Anyways, first-year captain, $630 a day. Monthly, that rings up to $8,820 a month, and yearly, that's $105,840. And if you're a year 5 captain at JSX, you get paid $709 a day, $9,926 a month, and $119,112 a year. As I said earlier, this is going to be a series where we talk about the pay across the industry at a variety of different companies. And once we get into regional pay, you guys will quickly see that this pay scale is really below other peers. One of the things that I never really liked about JSX was the way that our pay was structured, specifically on the FO side, because as I said earlier, no matter how many hours you have, you are doing the exact same job as a guy with 5,000 hours of experience, as a guy with 3,000 hours of experience. But if you are sub 500 hours or sub 1,000 hours, you're getting paid less to do so. That's not really fair. I cannot confirm that the 500-hour pay scale still exists. That's why we didn't talk about it, but I am pretty sure it is, just based upon past history. I think that the pay shouldn't be divided upon hours in the first place, and it truly should be one pay scale across the board for FOs. That's the pay breakdown for JSX. If you are in a situation where you can go to a regional quickly, I would usually recommend a regional airline over JSX because you'll get paid more and you will have less responsibilities. If you are a pilot at JSX, at least when I was a pilot at JSX, you had a lot of responsibilities that the average airline pilot does not have. And I didn't realize this until I went from JSX to my current employer, and my workload was drastically reduced and my stress levels were drastically reduced, because there are things that I do not worry about at my current employer that I 1000% had to worry about at JSX. Not to say that there's a safety difference, but there's a lot more that the pilots there have to consider, and you don't get paid accordingly. This pay scale is just what I could find online. If it is outdated, if there are current JSX pilots out there who are still flying there, and you're comfortable, go inside the comments and let us know what the real pay scale is, what the current stuff is, what your salary looks like.